So welcome to WackMatters annual Avengers. We're going to go out and say this. Any Avengers movie that comes out, where I think we should do a spoiler
We
cast
should
for.
probably just do it with more movies, especially because it's just there's not many movies that we see right away.
Any movie we both see right away, I think we should do.
Yeah, and also this is a spoiler cast. If you didn't realize that from the title and the fact that there probably was the word spoiler cast multiple places.
Yeah,
we're
going to spoil the whole
Avengers
thing.
Endgame, and if you are not wanting to listen to spoilers, you need to shut this podcast, which I will never, ever tell you to do this with any other podcast on our site. So consider this a blessing.
Add it to watch later. If you're doing this on YouTube or something, put it in your archives, your brain archives, or your YouTube archives.
Add to watch later. And listen, if you haven't seen the movie, but you think you're going to, don't listen to this. Don't be like my sister.
You know, I promise you guys, I know a lot of things say this. There's a lot of moments in this movie that I could tell you, and you'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool. But if you watched it and didn't know, there were things that happened in this movie, I got so enwrapped in it that I usually do the pretentious thing, especially recently, where where I'm kind of thinking ahead, and I'm trying to solve mysteries and like figure out where the movie's going.
I just straight up didn't do that.
I didn't. Yeah, no. Yeah. I went in there wanting to, and the way that the movie starts is they threw me off a lot with how
I don't want to say anything about. Listen, if you haven't seen the movie but you're going to, you need to turn it off. I'm going to start saying spoil. We're going to start talking about the movie in depth in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They win. It's like the inverse of last time.
Well, I don't know if that's really a spoiler.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I have a friend who's always like, movies are so predictable. That's why I like wrestling. It's like, well, yeah, we knew the good guys were gonna win. Like, yeah, sure, okay, but that's not the important part. The important part is the journey. You mentioned the beginning.
Hey, you know what I would tell your friend real quick as a side note? Is it the friend I think it is?
Tell him you got 2 words for him.
No. I would say, hey, it's weird. Every time I eat a Vonnie's cheese pizza, I know what it's gonna taste like, and it's so good, and yet. But I did the journey of eating that pizza is still so good.
No,
it's
because
weird.
This movie's better than Giovanni's Pizza because I thought I knew what was coming and they gave it to me better than what I expected.
That is true.
And I predicted pretty much all of the main. There's one death I did not predict.
Same.
Which I also heard someone else predict and thought that was a valid theory and it was correct. I don't know I didn't think this Scarlet was going to die.
I didn't think Scarlet was going to die either.
But I heard somebody else predict it and was like, that could happen. It sucks that she didn't
gets
get a movie
I thought,
until
though.
she died, though.
Is it just going to be in the past then, I guess?
I assume the theory, it was Matt Pat from Film Theory speculated that it would be a prequel.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it tracks.
Because she has a lot of history, a lot of red on her ledger, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, that's a good line. So let's just talk about this movie. So
let me start off real quick with, like, listen, we're going to get some, like, freaking hyperbole probably here, but, like, listen, I've been watching these movies for a very long time. They've been coming out for like 11 years now.
Yeah.
So like I had some like skin in the game. I was like Captain America.
I had some time and emotion. Like the amount of time that we've given these movies is a lot. Like so people talk about time being the most valuable currency that humans have, right?
I spent a lot of money on this movie.
A lot of money and a lot of time in this thing, and I think that it paid off. Like
they did it they did it so I was so scared, honestly.
Yeah.
Going into this movie that it was going to be butt.
Yeah.
And it was not it was the opposite of butt. It was
hair.
Sure. It was good. It was so good, and they did so many good things. So you wanted to start off.
Yeah. So
they started off, and
okay. So So here's how I expected this movie to go. I expected this movie to go. It kind of like start and then be like, all right, round 2, like let's go.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like figuring out what's our game plan to beat Thanos.
It was
right.
Slow.
It wasn't like that at all.
It was
so
good.
It starts with a real sad scene of Hawkeye's family dying.
It still got me. It caught me off guard.
I knew they were gonna die, right? As soon as it happened, I was like, "Oh, cool."
I didn't.
I watched it and I was like, "This is pre-snap. They're gonna die."
I didn't even think of that. Like, I honestly, let's just face it. I did something I am rarely ever able to do, and just shut my brain off and enjoy the ride. I was so grateful. I can never do that.
So
ever.
That happened. I was like, "Okay, cool." Predicted that. I looked over and told Danny. I was like, "Yeah, they're gonna die. Like they're gonna get dusted, right?" So then it cuts to like the rest of the Avengers. No, it cuts to Thor. And I was like, okay, cool. And then Thor gets saved. And I was like, okay, cool. And then they're like, let's just
I thought it cut to.
I mean, it cuts to Iron Man, not
because
Thor.
the Iron Man.
Yeah.
And the Iron Man part was very good because it showed Iron Man for once in his frickin' character's miserable life. Not for once, but like he was so broken down in a way that you've never seen him. And that was cool because his character evolved in the way that you wanted him to over the course.
All of the other movies?
Yeah,
So,
which he did some of it in 3.
I made the joke to Danny. I was like, the only thing that makes me sad about this movie is that they've given Iron Man the same character arc, and the one time they let it stick is the time that he dies.
I thought that it was... I thought there was like... There were parts in the movie where I was like, dude, he's definitely going to die the way they're portraying him in this movie, but... I don't know, man. I didn't know. But, like, okay, so it starts off and it's the Hawkeye thing.
He gets saved, right, by Captain Marvel.
Which, like, let's just face it, there was probably another scene where it explained how she knew where they were, I'm guessing, that they cut.
Yeah, I'm sure. And there's stuff that we all, like, I've talked to people talk about stuff that was
rarely cut. Some weird cut scenes, including one of them that was from the trailer. But, like...
what scene was the trailer? I didn't see any trailers.
It was when we're, like, Captain America... came back and they never seen her. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't a big deal. But like that was a weird. So like that was weird. But like,
and
she saves him and she brings him back. Freaking Iron Man is broke down,
and he freaks out on Cap.
He freaks out because Captain's back, and he says like, "You should have been there." They're resolving some Civil War crap. Like,
and then next is the part that threw me off,
where they say 5 years later.
No. They just go. Let's just kill Thanos. Let's just go kill him.
Oh, yes.
They go and kill Thanos, and from that moment on, I was like, wait, what?
Well, I was like, well, okay, I had already seen predictions that they were going to use the quantum realm to time travel.
I avoided so much stuff from this movie. I'm so happy about all of it.
And so, like, I was like, okay, this is what they're going to do. And, like, I don't know. Time travel is never my favorite thing, but I think they did it well. But, like, the fact that they kill Thanos, and there was, so, like... It's hit or miss, right? I was watching the movie next to a 10-year-old kid, and the 10-year-old kid's parents did not give a crap that he talked literally the whole movie. So, like, part of me was like, I like sitting next to someone that's very enthusiastic about this. At the same time, the kid was fairly annoying at different points. But it was funny because when they killed Thanos, the kid's like, "It's done. Movie's over. Let's go." It's just like, "Let's go home, Mom." They killed him.
No, so like I heard people talking about this, and I wanted like that was such a cool moment for Thor because that
he got to say I went for the head.
Well, Thor went and he got like a revenge, right? So like they were not avenging really; they were going after revenge.
Yeah,
and he got the revenge, and it felt hollow in the movie.
It was hollow,
and it was hollow.
They didn't get what they needed,
and then but like you see that hollowness and what it did to Thor. And it was a neat thing that you haven't seen before.
It did it to Iron Man. It did it to Thor. We got to see the characters all be in a very bad state, and then
except for Captain America,
he was not great either.
It wasn't great, but he was better.
But dude, I loved it when it pops away and it freaking pulls up and says 5 years later, and I'm like, dude. Yes! I love it when things let their crap sit for a while. And that's when we started seeing characters.
And people have to deal with stuff.
They were just freaking all down in the dumps.
Okay, also, let me say this. I didn't cry at parts I thought I was going to cry over, first of all. But when Iron Man comes back and Cap's the first person to help him walk off the ship, and he's like, "I lost the kid," I did tear up.
Oh, I was very affected.
I got a little emotional. That first of all, like
I was very affected
when Cap was the first person there after their history. I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, that tracks." Cap's,
and he says, "I lost the kid," and like honestly, I didn't think that affected. Like in Infinity War, I wasn't as affected by the like loss there, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm a jaded butthole. But when he said, "I lost the kid," maybe it's just the way he said it and he acted it.
No,
so
he
well.
delivered it very well.
Like, frick. Like heck,
like
dude,
how hard
they
that
lost
hit.
It, and like the fact that they gave it 5 years, and you see ScarJo in a like
ScarJo looked wrecked, dude.
She's like a standout in this movie, though.
Yeah, so good.
She killed it in this movie in like a way that like okay, when I very first saw her in like the Iron Man movies. I thought she was good. When I saw her in Avengers, I was like, they could take this character in an annoying direction. They could take it in a cool direction. She's gotten cooler as the series went on.
Yes.
Which, like, this is the movie where they kill her, and they make the killed people really cool in this movie. That's the thing that they did, which I like.
They also gave her a cool arc. Like,
she was just dope.
There were some stuff that I watched, and like it almost felt like a little hollow to me. And the more I thought about it, I was like, no, that's super tracked, actually.
No, Scarlett
Like
Johansson's
when Scarlett's like, I've been a horrible person, and then I found a family that made me a better person.
She's the person that has to run everything now.
And I'm okay. And like later when she dies, she's like, I'm okay dying. I became a person that I'm happy with.
She's so
and that's
good in
that's
this
my
movie, dude.
She essentially like, that's my character arc. I'm out.
Oh, she's so good.
It is real good.
Scarlett Johansson was so good in this movie. And then
I was sad when she died. Got a little teary.
Oh, but it's so good. Her and Clint are fighting to see who could sack themselves.
Yeah, that was real fun.
Clint definitely is the one who should stay and have responsibilities
as a family.
And freaking Black Widow knows this. She's like, dude, you can't do this. And he just is so freaking done. He just wanted to be. He wanted to check out. He wanted to be like, listen, I sacrificed myself.
Brought my family back.
And
also, he was like, I lost my family and became kind of like a serial killer murderer.
He became
person.
Black Arrow or Green Arrow.
Green Arrow from Arrow.
Season
and like
1.
He's like, I don't know if I can really go look at my family now.
I like him with both a sword and a bow.
Yeah, it's real good.
The sword is very good. His like mini samurai scene or like ninja assassination scene
was so good.
I would watch that movie now.
Yeah, good.
Oh,
I'm glad that he's getting his own show. If they do it good, it'd be tight.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would watch the crap out of that dude.
Real good.
Oh man.
But so
is it Clint too? Like, are they the same actor?
Yeah.
Good. I like that actor.
He's good. Jeremy Renner does a good job.
I didn't know if I liked him or not because I saw that Bourne movie that sucked butt.
Oh, I didn't see it.
But then I saw like Arrival. I actually watched a bunch of movies with him in a row recently, and they were all good. He was very good at it.
He's good and he's fun.
Have you seen Arrival?
No.
Very good.
So, what happened next? So you see Scarjo running everything, and she also looks so broken down and wrecked, and she's like, I don't know. And then Cap shows up and tries to talk to her, and she's like, don't give me that crap.
Yeah, he's like, listen. And she's like, basically, he's like, you should get a life. And she's like, I will when you will. And it's like, oh, dang, dude. He can't move on either. Nobody can move on.
Nobody can move on. And that's the point of the movie, is nobody really can move on. And then Ant-Man comes back. And I thought it was cool that Ant-Man had like, the least to do with everything.
Kind of, yeah, but
yeah, is one of the most key players, and like his movies matter a lot in this one.
There was a lot of dad stuff in this movie, including when Ant-Man first came back. He's like, "Please don't let my daughter be like dusted. Please don't let my daughter be gone." Then you realize he's gone, so he goes home and he gets to see his daughter grown up, which
and was cool.
He missed 5 years of his daughter's life, but like that was a dope moment.
Yeah,
there's so many dope moments that they pulled off so well.
The movie was just so good.
Oh, so like that was great. Excuse me. I don't know. They decided to get the band back together, Mighty Duck style.
I was an emotional wreck a lot of this movie
because they decide that there's a potential hope. So they go to Iron Man, and he can't be hopeful.
Well, Iron Man has a kid. He married Pepper, and he has a kid. They have a kid.
They have a kid. He's essentially, it seems like, just
the one who did move on.
Being a cool dad now.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a
dad. And he has moved on. He's happy. Like, he's not happy about everything that happened, but like he seems to have forgiven everybody because when they show up, he's genuinely happy to see them.
Yeah, and
he just doesn't like. He's like, listen, I wish you would have asked me literally anything else, but like we can't do this. This is impossible.
And not only is it impossible, but he's like, in the event that like I can't come back, I'm a dad and stuff now. Like I gotta be here for my family.
Yeah, he's like, and also I think it was like the whole thing was like, listen, if we change history, I don't want to change the fact that I have this kid. Like that's something that like as a father now I'm seeing in more time travel stuff, and I don't know if it's because it's happening more or just because I notice it more. The whole idea is like, I have a kid. I don't want to change history to where I don't have this kid anymore because this is my kid. Like I get it now more than I did. So like there's that.
And the kid's cute. It's like all the interactions between him and the kid are good and fun.
I don't know. Like it's so good.
The moment
they go get Thor.
That was funny.
Thor was
when
fat.
Thor yells at that kid and hands the thing back.
I forgot Thor trash talks a kid in Fortnite in the movie Avengers Endgame.
It's very good.
Okay. Also, this is an anecdote. So you know how every time Mom's phone ringer rings, it's the same ringer that Will Smith has in YouTube Rewind.
Yeah.
And it rings. It goes bing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kid that I sat next to, no kidding, kept saying, "That's hot. That's hot." which is what Will Smith says right after that. He said that the whole movie. But when they saw Thor, he's like, whoa, what is up with Marshmallow Man? And he called him every single time he showed up on the screen. The kid's like, Marshmallow Man. I was like, dude, kid, come on. The kid, one of the things he did was every time a character showed up on screen, he said their name. So he'd be like, Gamora. Captain America. Captain Wakanda. I don't remember.
Captain Wakanda.
Black Panther.
That was a good scene. And that was fun, and you see Thor super broken down.
Thor's broken down. They're really going the comedy direction with Thor, which I can't decide if I like or not. I like it and I don't like it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it depends on when it works.
The Hulk, they didn't really address the, Hulk impotence.
Banner.
They didn't address the impotence from Avengers.
The one thing that I regret.
I wish they would have done something with that arc.
Yeah, I wish there would have been something real cool. Essentially, when they finally knocked down Dragout with Thanos, there was a part where Hulk, where he lost control again and just goes, "All right, let's fight."
He doesn't really fight that. He doesn't Hulk smash anything.
No.
There's a part where he's like, "I should smash a car," and and that's a funny bit. But I was really hoping he would just fight. I kind of was hoping he would fight the Supreme Magician lady. What was her name?
Oh,
I was kind of hoping we'd see a Magic versus Hulk fight.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
And then eventually they talk. Of course they were going to talk, but
yeah.
I wanted to see them fight. That would have been cool.
Sorcerer Supreme, that's what they call
that's what it is. What did I say? Super Magician?
Yeah. And I almost said the one above all, who's a god from a different thing. No, it was good. That was cool when she shoved him out of his body. That was real good.
Yeah.
Because I forgot that they could do that.
Every time they do that, it's one of the dopest special effects. And I've seen it multiple times now, but it's still very good.
I forgot.
When you punch the key out of somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's good. So, heck, there was lots of dad moments. There were so many tiebacks to other things. They straight up went to scenes from the other movies, which I don't know how I felt about that still. I kind of wish they would have done different things, but at the same time, that it was a way of going back and remembering all the things that had happened without being too weird.
So some of it worked.
We can't think about the time stuff too much, though.
Some of it worked better for me, and some of it didn't. When the Iron Man Cap stuff from Avengers 1 didn't work as well for me.
I thought Avengers 1? No. But I like when they went back to
Guardians. And when you see Quill dancing and they do the scene where they cut back and you don't hear his headphones anymore.
Yeah, that was good.
Was so good.
But I also like when they go back to the 70s.
Yes, that was also good.
That was good.
The Avengers stuff I didn't like as much.
All of the stuff that, Tony got to do with his dad was good.
I liked the Secret Empire joke they threw in there. That was fun. When they recreate the scene from Winter Soldier when Captain America's in the scene and he says Hail Hydra.
He says Hail Hydra. That was very good.
So
I laughed out
loud. It was good because I remember all the controversy about that book, first of all. But I was it was a good version of expectations because you're like, oh, he's going to say before we start, does anybody want to get off the ride or whatever? Yeah. And then fight everybody in the elevator again. And he just goes, Hail Hydra. And they go, oh, yeah, cool. He's in the club and hands him the thing and he dips.
It was both a referential thing to one of my favorite movies in the franchise and also a subversion of expectations. Also made me genuinely, I laughed out loud when he said
it. It was so funny.
I thought it was good. I don't, yeah.
They do that cool thing where so Loki turns into Cap to make a joke, and you go, oh yeah, he does that, and they kind of set this precedence that he does that.
Yeah.
So when later Cap sees
another Cap,
he goes, oh, it's Loki, let's fight.
And then they see the other Cap and think it's Loki. Yeah, it was good.
It's good.
I have a question, and this is a little bit throwing off our train of pace. Was Natalie Portman actually in this movie, or did they just CG her? Because she was definitely in 5 seconds.
She CG'd her. I don't think she was in it.
Natalie Portman couldn't show up for 5 real seconds. Because the first time they're like, oh, it's her. And I'm like, dude, they didn't show her. That wasn't her. And then they do show her face, but it didn't look right.
Yeah, I don't think it was her.
I think they showed her I think they had an actress come in and they got the rights to CG her face for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That was weird.
However, another thing that made me emotional, I've never been the biggest Rocket fan. I think Rocket was a little overrated in a lot of the Guardians and stuff.
Yeah.
But the scene where he yells at Thor and he's like, hey, bud, I lost my family. I've never had a family. I don't know what I am. Can you get it together for a second so we can save everybody?
I just wanted to see him slap him, and he totally did.
Yeah.
He slapped him in
He's
the
like,
face.
hey, let's get it together. I need to get all my buds back. And also, it was a good moment. I teared up a little bit, but it was also funny because he's like, Quill and Gamora and Nebula and Groot and Drax and the Bug Lady.
Yeah. Yeah, because also, what's her name?
I don't know.
I don't know. No one knows. Also, I like her character,
She's
but
cool, yeah.
nobody knows her. Okay. So in the movie, at the very end, we're skipping it around a little bit because I just want to. Also, we haven't talked about this movie. We specifically didn't talk about it just so we could
see it. Yeah,
record
and talk this.
Well, we wanted to record on the podcast, like our actual first conversation. Is Thor in Guardians 4 or 3?
I'm guessing. I assume so.
It definitely just seems like Thor is going to be a regular member in Guardians 3, which
I think I'm okay with. Yeah.
Yeah, like he doesn't need his own movie.
No.
He left Asgard, so like,
which I thought was cool too. Like that
also
was fun.
like comedy Thor works, and
I think he'll work better.
It'll work better in a movie
work better in
specifically.
Guardians rather than in Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, in a movie made specifically for comedy, it's going to play better. Also, they could get the music references in. Yeah. I thought that was good. I like him with the Guardians. I liked him in Infinity War with the Guardians.
It was real funny.
I liked him in Endgame with the Guardians.
I think that Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth are both just very charismatic, well-timed comedic actors, and I think them having this weird grudge match over who's in charge and stuff like that
was very funny.
Is going to be good, and I think like if they play with that, it could be very funny.
So I am disappointed that Thor was kind of nerfed, but I like the direction they're going.
Well, like here's the thing. So I heard somebody talk about this. He's like, Thor was nerfed, but also like this is the most broken down Thor's ever been mentally.
Yeah,
and also Thor's out of shape.
Yeah, which he was fat. He was like fatter than me
and out of shape and stuff. Like, yeah, it would make sense that he's not as powerful as he once was. He hasn't been fighting for 5 years.
Yeah,
he has less motivation than
theoretically
usual.
doing nothing but eating, drinking, and playing Fortnite, trash talking kids in Fortnite for 5 years.
Yeah, like, so it makes sense that he's not at his peak fighting condition.
Yeah, which like honestly, just like I think it's more like that. Would the character even do that if he was broken down? I don't know. I thought that it was a little sad.
Well, like, the thing. It's like the character from Thor 1 and 2, no, but the character from Ragnarok,
Thor, yes. That's why, like, I think the Hulk maybe got the worst end. They didn't make him look terrible. I just wish they would have made him smash more.
Yeah, he didn't feel as big of a player as he could have been. I think he was like, as far as the people who were the original Avengers, had the least kind of agency.
So I'm trying to think about any of the awesome stuff before the end. They bring Thanos back because he died in an anticlimactic way, which I love, but I also wanted to see them fight. So then it ultimately, like, it starts off, the first part of the fight has we skipped over, we didn't really skip over, we talked about Clint and Black Widow earlier.
It was good.
A very good scene. I don't want to skip over that scene again. Very good. But then we get to the point where they get the Infinity Stones and Hulk snaps his fingers and says it didn't work. And right away you don't really know what that means. I kind of thought I might know what it means. And it comes out to me, like, if you remember, they had a relationship that they developed, especially in Avengers 2, I think it was.
Yeah.
So he was trying to bring
back. Nat back, and she couldn't. She can't.
He couldn't.
So I also heard.
Which,
so you know when what's his name, Thanos, snaps his fingers. He goes and he sees Gamora, and Gamora makes him feel like such a heel for killing everybody, like baby Gamora.
Yeah.
I bet there's a scene that got cut, and it's him snapping his fingers, and he wakes up in that weird alternative plane,
and he tries to talk to,
and he sees Nat.
Doesn't he wake up in the plane? Oh, he doesn't, does he?
He doesn't. Hawkeye does.
Yeah.
After he gets the stone. But I bet there's a scene where he snaps his fingers that got cut for time. And I bet it's also Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. I think it works better that he didn't. And he just says it didn't work. Because at first you're confused because you don't think that it brought people back.
But no,
Ant-Man, you find out immediately that it did.
It did, because what's his name gets his phone
call.
Hawkeye
gets a phone call, and Ant-Man looks outside and sees something too.
I thought Ant-Man was just supposed to see the ship.
He said, I think it worked.
Oh, then I don't know what he saw.
I don't know what he saw. Maybe they cut a scene out there too.
Probably.
But it was just the plants that I saw, like sunshine. Maybe.
Yeah, it was light. There was happiness in the world.
Happiness. So he snaps his fingers. He can't bring Nat back, which, like, well, at the end of the movie, I'll address some of the long-standing things that are, now that I thought about it, make me a little sad. So freaking, we get the the scene starting off the way. I really wanted a scene where it was all of the OG Avengers all fighting at the same time together, but Nat died, so that couldn't have happened.
However, I got the scene I did want. You got like the 3 main players.
Yeah, you got to see Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man all go at him at the same time. And you go, and my first thought was like, there's no way this is gonna work. But then you realize he doesn't have the stones now.
Yeah.
So they've got a shot.
Yes.
Then you realize that Thanos, without the stones, is still a beast, which
Yes.
like is cool. I love, like, in comic books, this happens. You have guys fight the bad guy. You want your bad guy to be stinking powerful. That way they have to work together to beat him. And that's what I wanted to see, and that's what we got to see.
You want your team villains to be that powerful.
Yeah, like you have your individual villains, and then you have your like Thanos's, which is like everybody has to team up. So I was good that he had a dope double sword, and so they're fighting him. And is this the scene where we get the like maybe one of the best scenes in the movie? Was it that part or later on?
It's this part.
And so like they're freaking tag teaming and kind of doing very good. And
they start to lose a little bit.
They start to lose a little bit, and he basically does he it's a callback to Infinity War. He basically gets Thor in the position that he was in, where he's got the axe up to his chest.
More importantly, so you see Thor go down, and you see Iron Man go down, and then Cap's like, all right, and they kind of lock up on each other.
Yeah.
And then gets the mess beat out of him, and like Cap's struggling to get back up, and then Thor gets up, and then he pins him.
He pins him and puts the axe on his chest, and he's winning. He's pushing it deeper.
Yeah, into his chest.
And then you see Mjolnir start to move. And I was like, is this going to happen? Like, I was like half thinking it, but like half trying not to think it.
Because the thing
because I've been disappointed before.
Yeah, you didn't want it not to happen.
They teased it 2 Avengers movies
Which
ago.
I think this is better. Like I wanted to see it in Age of Ultron.
Yes.
I'm glad I didn't because I saw it here. I think it's better.
When the freaking hammer flies across the sky and the scene jumps up with Captain America with the shield in one hand and the
Mjolnir
hammer in the other, and freaking Thor's like, I knew it. I literally was like, yeah, in the theater. I threw my fist up.
I've been making the joke to a lot of people that I at one point was going to salute Captain America in this movie. And I kid you not, I just like locked. I was like, this is what I wanted to see. I was so happy to see it.
As soon as the hammer hit his hand, my fist went up and I'm like, yeah! And my wife just looked at me and I had a small tear in my eye.
I was so jazzed, dude.
And then I was like, he should kill him, but also like he doesn't have to kill him anymore because like this is a very good scene. Then he beats up on him for a while. Like he does very good. And then Thanos punches the shield a bunch of times and breaks it.
Okay,
okay. If we want to get serious here, the power levels during this fight are all over the place.
Yeah.
He definitely punches a vibranium shield in half.
No, he uses a sword on it.
Okay,
he chops it a few times with the sword.
That's crazy.
However, my favorite shot of the whole movie, because we're both big Cap fans.
Yeah,
I love Captain America, and is Cap has this broken shield, and the Horde's behind Thanos. Yeah. And there's a moment where he just kind of stands up.
He's the only one standing.
Yeah, and there's a moment, and I almost wish that this is the only scene that I remember like directly that I would have changed a little bit, as I would have had like a scene where he's like, all right, let's go.
I mean, he doesn't say anything, which maybe is better. Where he's the only hero standing. He has a half shield and a hammer,
and he kind of just looks up at Thanos, and Thanos'
entire army is standing there, and he's just kind of like, well, I stood back up. Let's go, I guess.
Yeah, like round 3,
and like that's where I'm like, this is where he's gonna die, right? Because
yes, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and I'm like, I wish he would have killed Thanos and died, but I don't know how they do that. So then I think,
well, you just see an orange portal appear behind them.
Oh, and then I was like, okay, so Strange is back. And then like they do this crazy moment, which is very good, and it was where basically all the good guys from all of the movies that I can remember, I think it's pretty much everybody shows up through these portals.
So you see every single good guy. You see the Wakandan army. You see what's left of the Asgardians. You see all of the wizards.
All the people that got dusted.
Everybody got dusted. Everybody shows up. this is when I cried. I wasn't sad crying. I was like,
I never full on cried, but I kind of had tears in my eyes the whole movie.
As somebody who loves comic books so much and loves Captain America so much, and I saw this moment where you see a look on his face where he's kind of like, all right, I guess I'm going to die now because I'm going to go try to fight Thanos and his whole army with my shield, with my broken shield and my hammer. I'm the only guy up. And then all of his friends show up. And tears. I wasn't sad crying. I got so happy that I saw everybody all at once.
This was the moment that I'd been wanting forever. Like,
yes.
When we were children, we didn't really watch a lot of superhero stuff, and we didn't read a lot of comic books. But we did use our imaginations to make up basically the equivalents.
Yes.
All the time. And there was always the scene at the end of our stored campaigns where you'd have to have every single person show up, people that you thought had died come back, and then everybody comes to like do the final battle.
And you're like, all right, cool.
Well, and like when I read like crossover comics, this is the moment where I like sometimes hits and sometimes misses. This is the moment where I'm like, this is what comics can be. This is what superhero stories can be.
It's so good. So tears rolling down my face just out of giddiness and like appreciation for the thing that I wanted to see for so long, and I'm so happy to be seeing. Hit so good.
And everybody shows up and you're like, all right, it's about to go down. And
you see Giant Man get giant again.
Ant-Man. Yeah. Giant Man.
So good.
So all the peeps show up and they all fight each other. And
Iron Man sees Spider-Man again.
Iron Man sees Spider-Man
again. And they hug and it's so good.
Which is good. There's there's a real you go girl moment. Which is so overt.
Well, yeah, that was my thing. I was like, so like, here's my thing about it. I was like, it wasn't that they shoved it down your throat necessarily. It was that it felt out of place a little bit. That the only people who were there, including Spider-Man, who just, I guess, chose not to help them in that final push.
Yeah. Oh, well, here's the thing, though. Like, every single what we're talking about, I guess if you're listening and you haven't seen it, there's the part where literally just every single woman for some reason teleports from across the battlefield to be all together, and they just have this like woman push, which like,
is cool.
Let's face it, literally all of them are cool except Captain Marvel, who I don't like.
Yeah, I don't like.
I like every single other woman that was in that lineup.
Like I don't like her as an act. Like I don't think she does a good job as the actress.
We
like the scene where
we'll talk about that too long.
No, the scene where where Peter gives her the gauntlet and he's like, I'm Peter Parker, and she's just like, the way she just says it and has like that smirk. It's like, I don't like it.
Everything she says in this movie is terrible. So they do the push. Then Captain Marvel starts fighting Thanos, and I was like,
I got scared.
I was scared a little bit. This is basically right before she showed up. I was thinking this is the only time my brain left the movie for a second. I was like, Captain Marvel hasn't been in this movie. Where is she? And then she shows up, and I was like, okay, let's see how they handle this. And then she just kind of starts one-on-oneing Thanos and kind of beating him up for a while. And I was like, dude, don't ruin this perfect movie that you've made perfect so far up into this moment. And then like he has the gauntlet. Oh, this is where I was talking about the power levels just being nuts. She blows up his entire ship.
Yes.
In one go, which like it needed to go. We've seen her blow the ship up. It has historical
impact. Like, yeah, she can do it. We know she can do it.
We know she can do that. She does it. It's cool. But then she starts fighting Thanos, and I'm like, listen, dude, if she one-on-ones Thanos when he's wearing the 5-gem gauntlet, 4-gem, 6-gem,
6, I think.
6-gem gauntlet, then we have a power level imbalance here that's just stupid. And like,
I do like the scene where she's just not letting him close his fist and he pops out the Power Stone and punches her was good, though.
Well, but also I sound like a jerk because I'm like, yeah, my favorite part with the Captain Marvel was where she got punched across the sky. But it's true, though.
It was good.
So, like, Thanos was smart. He pulls the power gem out. He punches. He couldn't beat her with all of the gems in the gauntlet because she was trying to snap. He was trying to go in for his super too often.
Yeah.
So he pulls out the power stone and punches Captain Marvel, and she leaves. Honestly, and I told my wife after this movie, now that the like rest of the characters are mostly out of the way, she can come in and be the new Captain America, like stand-in, like leader of everybody, and that's not gonna bother me the way it was.
Yeah, because
I just was afraid it
was not that my brother's a giant sexist. It was that's bad storytelling.
And I still don't love
her as
but
I don't think she does a good job as the actress.
But they could
whatever.
go. They could go a different direction.
She could get better as an actress. She could become funnier. There's a lot of things that could happen that are good, and I don't hate the Marvel universe.
I really
that
just
could be built around her.
I hated the way I thought the story was going to go. It didn't go that way. So she gets punched across the sky.
And then he's about to snap again.
Hulk tried to snap. He was weak. He tries to snap again. I don't remember how the gauntlet leaves.
No, Iron Man jumps up and grabs his hand and tries to throw him, and he punches Iron Man off, and then he snaps, and Iron Man pulled up the gems off.
Oh yeah, Iron Man pulled the gems off. Iron Man puts the gems into his own
Iron Man suit
gauntlet, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna do it.
Well,
and then
it's funny because, here's the thing. This is the epic moment, right? So the whole time, and also in Infinity War, he's kept saying that this is inevitable. I'm inevitable. I'm inevitable.
We also forgot to say, So he kept
saying
he says,
I'm inevitable. I'm inevitable. And he says it again.
There's two callbacks. Thanos says that he's inevitable. He snaps and doesn't work.
Oh, dude.
And then there's also the callback. When Doctor Strange shows up, Iron Man says, the reference back to Infinity War, and says, dude, you saw the 14,601 or whatever timelines. Is this the one where we win? And he says, I can't tell you. If I tell you,
it won't happen.
It won't happen. And right before the scene where Iron Man gets the gems and the gauntlet, he just looks at him and does the one. And I was like, oh, frick, dude.
Okay, also, though, again,
so good.
We forgot to say this, though. When Cap is standing there by himself and everybody rallies behind him, and he says, Avengers Assemble.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Avengers. So good.
Avengers Assemble was very good. Has he said that yet?
He said it once in the first one.
The first one? Okay. Yeah. I think he says it right before the back-to-back scene.
Yes. Right before the comic book panel.
Yeah, right before the comic book. There's a couple comic book panels in this movie too, but yeah, yes. But yes, so Thanos has been saying, I am inevitable, and then freaking
Iron Man gets the thing,
puts on the gauntlet with the gems, holds up his fist and says, I am Iron Man.
Snaps.
Which was a freaking callback to the very first movie. It brings it full freaking circle all the way back to these movies. We've been watching. Well, okay, we'll ignore the Hulk.
Okay.
He brings it back full circle all the way back to the freaking beginning of a series, snaps his fingers, which is going to kill him. They've established that's probably going to kill him.
Yes.
Freaking dusts Thanos' entire army and sacks himself, which is what he tried to do in Avengers 1 on accident, kind of, but it didn't work. And that's where he saw his mortality when he launches the missile open.
Yes, he tries to kill himself to save everybody.
Oh, dude, it was so good.
So they let him finish his character arc. For how many movies has Iron Man been doing the character arc of I'm kind of like a D-bag, but I can be better and I should be better.
So
and then he becomes better and he's the hero in this movie. He's one of the two heroes in this movie who makes the hero sacrifice.
I have been thinking so long that Iron Man, he's fun in his own movies, but he is still a tool for the most of the series. And I always thought that he was overrated. This whole movie, he was amazing because he grew up and finally matured. The whole movie, Iron Man was amazing.
Another scene real quick that we have to get out of the way, just to kind of derail it a little bit more. Another scene I teared up in. Iron Man, after he solves the time travel thing and goes back to the Avengers, he rolls up and Cap meets him outside and he's like, hey, are we done? Essentially, and they're like, we're done. He gives Cap his shield back and they shake hands, and I got teary because I was like, hey, they're friends again.
Yeah, they're good.
I like it cool when my heroes are friends.
Yeah, so Iron Man sacks himself. Freaking Thanos melts away and screw that guy because he sucks butt. There was a good moment where Quill tries to kiss Gamora, but she defo doesn't know who he is.
Yeah,
and it was very
she
good.
Kicks him. Yeah,
she kicks him in the nards, and he says his one line in the movie, which is, "You missed the first time, got both the second time." It's good. Oh man, they didn't give him a lot of love this movie, but that was very good.
That's really funny.
I don't know how you give all your people that much love in this movie, and I think that's why it was so good that they mostly focused on
the OGs,
because the OGs are leaving.
Well, yeah, and just like I think
we saw 3 of the 6 OGs leave.
Yeah, so assuming they do something similar for, let's say, it keeps going on, they kind of keep following the same formula. as people's contracts run out, we do a giant thing, then some of them die off. I'd be okay with that. It's a decent way to tell stories. You finish a lot of arcs. That's cool. I expect that to happen. Like, for Phase 4, if a bunch of people from whose arcs or kind of things, contracts run out, if they die at the end of Phase 4, I'd be like, okay, cool. Like,
so things that we saw, major thing that we saw was Captain America. After the movie was over, I kind of thought he was going to try to do something to bring Tony back, but sacrifice himself. I didn't know how they would do that.
Here's what I thought. I thought he was going to meet Nat, and he was going to kill himself and bring Nat, like stop Nat from killing herself and kill himself and give her the rest of the stones to replace back in time.
Basically, he's going to go replace the stones. He says he's going to leave. So I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but he goes back in time. I thought that maybe he brought Iron Man back, but he didn't. So what we saw here is we all thought Captain America was going to die in the movie, and he kind of did. Ultimately, he got very old, which I think is just going to imply that he's going to die between movies. But what I think the thing here is we were talking about characters finishing their arcs. Iron Man finished his arc. Natalia finished her arc. A lot of people were finishing their arcs, and I think you could think that Captain America didn't finish his arc.
That's what I thought originally, and then I thought about it some more.
But that's when you realize that even though, like, maybe Captain America in the comics was a little bit different, Captain America in these movies, his arc really was his love story.
Yeah.
With
Peggy. That's what he cared about.
That's what he's cared about all the movie. And, like, the more I thought about it, that was his focus kind of the whole time, was Bucky and Peggy. Like, as much as he was definitely the loyal dude who was going to do whatever he could to save people, his personal desires were always Peggy and Bucky, and sometimes that blonde girl.
Yeah.
That was just a joke, kind of. But, like, he was always, like, Peggy, like, freaking... Yeah, it was always the thing. So when you see that he goes back in time and he just chooses, after he does his job or whatever, to just go back and essentially marry Peggy and then grow old with her, and then she dies and then he's old. Like, he
finished his arc.
He finished his arc. He got to fall in love with the woman that he loves
and live a life with her.
His life with her until she died of natural causes. And he was old and he was happy. And they're all like, "Hey, tell me about it." And he's like, "No, I'm good.
No, it was
my life. I'm good."
Yeah, and like that was the whole thing. People kept warning him. They're like, "You need to move on." Like that was the thing. Yeah. He woke up, and ever since then, like people were like, "You need to move on. Like you don't have to live your life like you're in a war all the time anymore."
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's all I've ever known. That's what I've done. And I'm kind of stuck there because the thing that was my life, that was not this war, is gone. I can't be with her anymore.
I can't even." Yeah. So
she only remembers me half the time, and then she died. And he's like, I don't have a life outside of fighting bad guys. I don't have that.
He did not pass the torch on to Bucky, which was I've been saying forever.
He passed the torch on to Falcon.
Which is good. It makes sense. It's been in the comics. Falcon's cool. Bucky's still around, which is mostly all I care about because Winter Soldier's dope in the comics, and they've done him dope in the movies.
He's cool in the movies thus far.
So basically, are we going to see like Captain America movies with Winter Soldier? I hope so, because that'd be freaking awesome.
Yeah. Also, I don't know about Sebastian Stan, just as an actor. Anthony Mackie is all in these movies, dude. He's psyched about them. He loves them.
Tours, yeah.
Yeah, like he is all in on these movies, and I think that's probably why they gave it to him, because they're like, if we're going to build up another Captain America-esque character, we want somebody who might stick around and not grow tired of it, and he doesn't seem like he's going to.
Until I see him in action, I guess I can't judge. I don't know if he's going to do a standalone Captain America movie, though.
I think he will.
Maybe. There's none on the slate right now, is there?
There's nothing really on the slate right now that's not.
I think they were trying to keep it semi-secret.
Yeah, there's Spider-Man.
We knew Spider-Man.
We knew Spider-Man, and we knew
Captain Marvel 2.
And Guardians 3.
Yeah.
That's it.
Which Guardians 3 was confusing because we didn't know why Gamora was in that movie. So I don't know, dude.
I mean, all of them were confused. Well, I guess Gamora, because she didn't get dusted.
Yeah, Gamora wasn't dusted. That's why it was different. So, okay. So let's wrap it up. We all thought the movie was awesome. I don't know. I don't know how someone would not like this movie. If they like the MCU. If they don't like MCU, whatever. But like, I feel like it was the perfect wrap up to every single storyline that was going through the MCU.
Well, yeah, like I heard a lot of criticism I've heard about the movie where people like, it's kind of all over the place and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, if you're judging it by a standalone movie.
I heard
like,
a high schooler say that it was one of the worst movies he's ever seen, and I just think
Who?
I didn't know the person.
Like if you see the movie by itself, it's bad. But it's like I also don't go like I didn't read Return of the King first and go, I don't know what's going on. It's so confusing.
It's literally the equivalent of like watching the last like a season finale of a TV show without having watched the TV show.
Yeah, like dude, I was really confused in Return of the King. Like, who's the king? Where was he? Why are all of these
So whatever. I don't know, man. It was so good. Was a lot of it predictable? Yeah. The deaths I predicted were Captain America and Iron Man.
Yeah, and they died.
I thought that Hulk would live, and I thought that Thor would live, because Thor's movies have been doing better, and Hulk really hasn't gotten a lot of time to shine. People love Mark Ruffalo. He doesn't seem to be.
He does a good job in the movies.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have a lot of moments.
And so, like, I didn't think that they were going to die. So my predictions were correct. I was super sad to see Black Widow die. But it was awesome. Like,
I'm even more excited to see her movie now.
Yeah, which like I was excited to see her movie before this, honestly. But like, she was dope in this movie. I was gonna say that if we wanted, are we done saying the awesome things that we want to talk about?
Oh, the last thing I want to kind of say is, so Marvel recently acquired X-Men, right?
Yes.
I don't know how you would do this per se, but I think so. The whole idea of this movie and time travel was like they were going to make a positive, not a paradox loop, like a positive loop where we go back in time, take the things we need, fix everything in present day, then go back in time and replace everything from the moment we took them.
Yeah.
Thus, everything kind of stays the same. Cap didn't come back though. So I think
there's a lot of things that if we want,
but I think what they're going to do is, and this makes sense to me, Cap not coming back, and I don't know how you would butterfly effect this, changes the way some stuff works.
They
and
try to ignore the butterfly effect, but it definitely.
But I think what they're going to, well, yeah.
Okay, let's face it. If we think about the time travel that happens in the movie, things fall apart like every single time travel movie, and also some things start to get explained, and also some things start to be stupid. So, one, we knew there was a Loki TV show coming. How the heck was Loki going to... Oh, he stole the Space Stone in the past and warped out. So we're going to get a Loki movie. We knew Gamora was going to be in Guardians. They say... And I'm like, here's the thing that makes this a little stupid if you think about it. Gamora died to the Soul Stone, but they've still brought her back. They could do the same thing to Nat. But they didn't. And I don't think they should, because I don't like that. But like, if I'm picking my nits like I'm going to after that movie, that's kind of sucky that like...
Well, yeah, because it's better if the deaths have gravity.
Yeah, and like they try to explain Nat not coming back as this can't happen because of the Soul Stone, but they definitely did the exact same thing to Gamora and got her back a different weird way, which she's not the same Gamora, but like she is. I mean, she is the same, whatever, time travel. It's the same person.
Yeah.
It's just a different thing. They could have done the same thing with Nat. I don't know. I feel like those are most of my nitpicks is just time travel.
Well, I don't know who that kid is still.
Oh, we got to talk about that. At the very end of the movie, there's a funeral for Iron Man, and there's a scene, and I haven't Googled any theories or anything.
I'm going to Google this real quick.
There's a scene where they're showing all the people, and it's really cool because they show like all the peeps, and they're at the funeral, and Captain America's standing alone, or Captain Marvel standing alone, because of course you would. And they show everybody at the funeral, and there's also just a rando kid, and I don't know who it was. My wife didn't know who it was. My brother didn't know who it was. My brother's girlfriend didn't know who it was. I assumed it was an X-Man, but I don't know, because they have the X-Men right
That's
now.
what I assumed, yeah.
That was the only real teaser. There were two teasers. One was that there was no real teasers at the end of the movie, but there's a sound of a hammer banging. Have you seen any theories on that yet?
No.
I don't know what that was. At the end of the credits, we do get to see like a credit for each of the main Avengers, which I thought was very good. And they signed their autograph on the movie. I don't know. My nitpicks aside, I thought it was so very good. So many callbacks.
People think it's the kid from Iron Man 3.
Oh, could be. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah.
That's cool. And that's another callback. So much history tied in.
Which I think is less cool than it being an X-Men. But also...
Yeah. No, maybe more cool. I want the X-Men to get a new start where you know where they are.
Okay, I also had this theory, right? So they got the Fox stuff back, which isn't just X-Men. So here's a fun way. So
I don't want to see the Fantastic Four.
Shut up. So here's
so freaking stupid.
No. Think about this, Michael.
Oh my word.
So Spider-Man needs to have agency, right? Yeah. So Spider-Man is going to be, personally, I think, the only kind of one of these that takes place on Earth to set up a Phase 4, which I think at this point we should assume is going to have the X-Men and the Fantastic Four in it.
I think I was still reading that the new Spider-Man movie still takes place in this phase.
Well, yeah, but I think it's going to set up the next one.
Maybe.
I think at the end of the movie,
he gets Fantastic 40s.
No, he gets a but he gets a Future Foundation grant. Like rather than his Stark internship, he gets like a Future Foundation thing, which is a Fantastic Four thing.
I don't like
the Fantastic Four could be so cool. You're judging it off of the movies and bad.
I've never seen them.
Why don't you like Fantastic Four?
I've only seen the old cartoons, and they're all very bad.
Dude, hey, do me a favor. Go read Hickman's Fantastic Four run and then tell me that they're bad.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen bad X-Men too, but I like the X-Men.
You have Marvel Unlimited and you like to read arcs and people's runs. Go read look up the Hickman pages, issues of Fantastic Four because it's some of the best comics, period.
I'm going to bring up a real quick, this is not related. And I'm also getting distracted. Oh, can we just see a good X-Men movie, dude? I don't want to see the Dark Phoenix movie. It looks bad.
No, I want to see the Dark Phoenix movie the way that the show did it, like the books, where they go to outer space and they find an alien race and they destroy planets and they.
I just want to start seeing MCU adaptations of the X-Men that are good. I'm excited for the new MCU. There was a lot of people, and by a lot of people, I mean I have one friend who was basically like, I'm checking out after this.
Who?
Because Mac.
Fair.
He was like, I'm checking out after this. I'm done. This is all formulaic. And he's not wrong. But at the same time, I'm not done. I thought they did it very good. We have Black Panther to look forward to. We have Spider-Man to look forward to.
Here's my thing.
Ant-Man, Thor. Thor's with Guardians now.
I like superheroes. I like superhero stories. I love comic books. I love the worlds that they exist in. I love the emotions that they can give me. And until I go to these movies and I stop feeling the same way that like I felt when we watched X-Men the animated series together when I was like 12.
Until all the movies are Iron Man 2 and the Hulk
like,
movie
not even
and Captain
that,
Marvel.
Not even that, like, well, yeah, that would make me quit going, but like till they kind of as a whole and the idea of them and the universe of them stop making me feel the same giddiness I did as like 10-year-old me watching superhero stuff for the first time ever, I'm gonna go.
Do you want to see my sick burn? What? Until they start making movies like DC.
Got him.
Which I haven't seen the good one. The
Wonder Woman, the one good one.
Yeah,
or I guess not everybody hated Aquaman and people like Shazam, but
people do like Shazam. Also, the Batman Nolan movies. Can Nolan make a Marvel movie? What if Nolan would have made Doctor Strange?
It'd be buck wild.
Oh, dude, I would love that. I think I said something else the other day we were talking. I said Nolan should make a different movie, and I don't remember what I said. Nolan should 100% make a Doctor Strange movie.
It'd be weird.
Oh, what a freaking trip that would be.
Or like, actually get him back in the DCU. Can you imagine a Nolan question movie, dude?
Oh, that'd be weird. Would it just be Memento?
Probably. Dang it.
Have you seen Memento?
I think so.
Oh, it's such a beautiful, and by beautiful, I mean that weird. We're getting distracted. Avengers Endgame was very good. 5 out of 5 is what I give it.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 if you're listening to Life, what you rate it.
It's so good, guys.
I was so happy. I didn't cry, but I was teary pretty much the whole movie. I did fist pump and yell when Captain America had Mjolnir. So good. Oh, it's just so good. I haven't been this excited walking out of a movie in a long time.
Yeah, it very much made you feel like a kid.
Yeah. And like
I'm not even that old, but like
I am, and it made me like I was like, this is why I like superheroes though. Yeah. Like this is good. And my wife loved it as well. And she's like she likes movies. She has no problem watching fantasy or sci-fi bullcrap, insanely complicated, convoluted stories. She gets bored when there's too much action. And frankly, there wasn't a ton of fighting in this movie until the very end. She was like totally in. And like she watched all these movies, I caught her up. She loved it too. which I
so
like when we were able to do stuff
good.
together. It's such a good movie.
Another moment, so the tears kind of died down, and like it's weird because I like cried and stopped crying a lot at the same thing when Captain Wakanda's standing there and he starts the Wakandan battle cry.
Yeah.
Tears started again.
They didn't show M'Baku, which was a little bit of a bummer.
It's a bummer
because I love M'Baku. He's very good. M'Baku is maybe one of my favorites.
I also expected to see the scene again, though, as they were marching out. I expected Cap and him to charge again and be in front of everybody.
Yeah, that would be dope. I'm so sad that we don't get a ScarJo movie where she's, like, alive.
Yeah.
That's such a bummer.
Yeah, she doesn't. ScarJo's like, hold on, I'm gonna give my character my due and like work my butt off to make her like such a cool character. Oh, I'm gone. Now she gets her due because I'm dead.
Speaking of the You Go Girl moments, freaking Olsen chick was dope in this movie as well.
Oh, when she goes
Because
to
they actually let...
when she squares up with Thanos, you're
Okay,
like, oh, what's
listen,
up?
I know that I sound like a hypocrite, and maybe it's just because I don't like Captain Marvel. I wanted to see Scarlet Witch go one-on-one with Thanos. I didn't want to see Captain Marvel.
I didn't want to see her win, but I wanted to see her not lose.
I wanted to see her not lose.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Be like the dude that's like, listen,
Which is
everyone
what
else has to
happened.
regroup. I'm going to go one-on-one with them.
Which is what happened.
Like, I want to see more. Like, I didn't like her at first when they brought her on, which, like, her character was still in the phase where she's, like, developing.
Yes.
But, like, she's earned her spot. She's been very good in the movies that she's been in, playing the part she needs to play. Now, I'm cool seeing the Scarlet Witch.
Who's, like, kind of got some power. She's got some oomph behind
She's
her.
in a TV show coming. I want to see the Scarlet Witch where she's, like, a super hardcore fighter.
Your kid fell down.
Yeah, one of my kids fell down. I want to see Scarlet Witch be dope. I want to see Scarlet Witch be dope. I want to see the Black Widow movie.
This movie made me like so happy for everything that's going on, except for
really
maybe
excited.
Captain Marvel and like,
Which I'll watch it. I'll give it another shot.
yeah.
Like, I'll try. Now that I know she's not going to ruin my moments for like Iron Man and Captain America, I feel better about it. But like,
yeah, and also here's my thing about it: like, I didn't love her as an actress in the movie. I like all the side characters.
well, yeah, but they were mostly the same side characters.
Well, like I'm
But the
saying,
thing
like
is,
if
I've
they
also-
make another movie that's just even if it's in the past and they use some of the same side characters, I'd be like, cool, I like all of them.
I've also come around on like I just said, I didn't really like Scarlet Witch at first. Now I think she's awesome. I didn't know how I felt about Black Widow at first. I think she ended very good. I like every single woman in Black Panther because they're all dope. Gamora is good, and I'm glad that
Nebula's cool. I like
she's back.
Nebula.
Nebula's a little too emo all the time. Otherwise, I'm okay.
I think it's good.
But like she, like in a movie that's like jokey and fun, she just needs to freaking chill for a sec. She's like way too hardcore all the time. It's not like maybe she's the good kind. Like, what if she was like Gerard Way instead of like doom and gloom, like the way that she is? Like, what if she walks? She's like, my dad sucks,
and she she just became the leader of the broken.
I have to nod my head just to feel anything, Quill.
Sometimes I let it match and let it burn down to my fingertips just so I can feel.
I don't know. I don't think we are.
This movie's amazing.
Go. Well,
Go
I don't
watch
want
it.
to say go see it because you've already seen it. I want. No,
Go watch it again. I want to watch it
no,
again.
I
I've been
kinda
invited to see it again. I want to.
no, I don't want to go buy all of them. I don't have them all. Should we go halvesies and share?
We should.
You already have some of them. Ah, dang it. They're all good.
But you have some of them too, don't you?
I think I have Winter Soldier.
Because it's the best one. I have the best one.
Because it's the one like listen. Also, speaking of heroes, oh, hold on, we have to say this. Speaking of heroes, I had to come around on because I've been making fun of Captain Marvel. I hated Captain America 1.
Is it because
That
it's a bad
is
movie?
But I've heard people try to say it's the best movie in the MCU, and I don't know what movie they watched, but it was not the same one I watched because Captain America, the first Avenger, is so terrible. I hated Captain America so much in that movie. Oh man, but Winter Soldier was so good. This movie is probably better than
The
Winter
Russos
Soldier.
were like, hey, hold on.
Hold my beer. Which ones have the Russos made? Is it just Winter? Did they make Civil War?
Winter Soldier, Civil War, both of the last two Avengers.
That's what I thought, and like they haven't let
Oh,
me down.
it's weird. They made the best ones. It's weird how they did
haven't
that.
let me down. So, love the movie. 10 out of 10.
Go
Because
see
it's,
it again.
Right at an hour, which I love.
Yeah, we're gonna go. I will probably see it again.
I don't know if I will because it's harder for me to get babysitting, but otherwise, yeah.